The Game Awards are coming in hot, and we've got one of the best gaming years in the history of the medium. From RPGs to Metroidvanias, action games, and even puzzle games, we had an absolutely loaded year of gaming to get through. The Game of the Year award is the most prized trophy, and this year we're going to have some theory as fans, because it truthfully could be anyone's crown, no matter what you may think. While every list you'll see like this is subjective, here's how we'd rank the GOTY nominees if it were up to us.
I think if the category was Most Fun Game of the Year, Donkey Kong Bananza would take home the prize in a landslide. It is brimming with joyous energy, beautiful graphics, and tons of fun gameplay mechanics that make it really a standout title for Nintendo's somewhat forgotten mascot. The amazingly creative levels, the way Donkey King moves and smashes through it all, and just the non-stop barrage of new ideas are wonderful. Take, for example, the racing there that throws you into a contest against Diddy Kong, or a food-themed park where your goal is to rebuild a massive burger in the center of it. The ideas just keep on coming. The fun just doesn't stop here, which is great. However, the other games on the docket seem to have a bit more on the table. Donkey Kong Bananza is a throwback to a simpler age of gaming and gets the platformer genre a kick of yes it's sorely needed for quite some time. But it's fighting an uphill battle this year. You'll find out why shortly.
Death Stranding 2 on the beach is Hideo Kojima Unbound. Every crazy idea he's ever had comes to life here. From women who can control the rain to talking puppets, giant robot samurai, and mechanical squids. And that's just in the first couple of hours. The story this time around is a bit less intriguing than the first game, but it makes up for that with the gameplay. The gunplay, the abilities, and the amazing amount of tools you have at your disposal are far more fun to play around with in the sequel. The visuals are also breathtaking, with photorealistic landscapes giving weight to over-the-top boss fights and some of the most amazing set pieces you've ever seen. Death Stranding 2 takes away the need for the traversal of the first game, which, in my opinion, lessens the overall product. A lot of the game, you're able to just drive a variety of vehicles from point A to point B, and that's a bit less fun than struggling through the various creeks and up the maladies from the first game. Still, the overall product makes for an awesome game. The voice acting, the story, and overall atmosphere are affecting in a way most games don't achieve. It's not fun the whole way through, but its big moments hit so hard that other games only pray to come close to that sort of feeling.
Hades 2 takes everything that the first game did and kicks it into overdrive. This time around, you play Zagreus' sister, Malinoe, on her mission to stop the Time Titan Kronos. The story itself is far more interesting in this ambitious sequel, as it's a unique idea that generally isn't approached in the games involving Greek myths. Here you'll be stopping time itself, which is a fascinating subject alone, and all the flair and style from the Hades franchise brings it to life in a special way. It's not just a new character at the controls though, but a far different combat system that gives you a magic system on top of the fast-paced combat from the first game. You'll also have a mecha attacks which can deal a ton of damage, a sprint function that speeds up the action, as well as a whole new hub world with brand new gods to interact with. Customization is paramount in Hades 2, which was missing a bit from the first game, and you'll be able to unlock different looks for Malinoe that had different abilities. Overall, it feels like the budget was much bigger this time around, but it kept the feeling of the first game alive in spades and delivered a better overall package while not losing what made the first game great in the first place. It's tough as hell too, so there's still a slight barrier of entry, but it's one well worth pushing past.
Hollow Knight Silksong felt like a myth until this year, and despite the massive hype train it had, the game delivered on all fronts. This stunning and personality-filled trip through the worlds of bugs and other horrors is one for the storybooks. With Hornet as the protagonist this time around, despite her not actually speaking lines, your hero is brimming with personality, with weird little noises to represent different feelings and opinions on the world itself. That world is much more fleshed out in the sequel, with more characters to talk to and lore to discover, and it's up there with one of the most intriguing and strange video game worlds on the market. You're here for the gameplay though, and does it ever deliver on that front? The amazing boss fights get weirder and more difficult as the game goes on, and you're constantly unlocking new abilities and tools to help you throughout your journey. If there is a blemish on the game, it's the difficulty. And considering the developers had to patch several fights since its release, it's clear the barrier for entry was a bit too high here. Especially in the early going, your reflexes are going to have to be otherworldly to survive not only the bosses, but the regular enemies as well. You're a glass cannon from start to finish here, so it's tough to ever feel really comfortable. But the fans of the first game are the audience for Silksong, and it's clear they nailed everything they could want and more with the sequel.
Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2 is an epic sequel that takes everything the first game did and improves upon it in significant and meaningful ways. Clearly armed with a far bigger budget, the presentation is way better this time around. From the set pieces to the various tension-filled stealth sequences, this is an elite quality title through and through. Henry's tale is both complex and exciting from start to finish, and the game manages to do the best version of sequel strips the hero's powers that I've seen. Combat is far better this time around too, with various weapon types and tons of moves to study and learn from various trainers around the game world. The exploration is also incredible, with some of the best environmental graphics I've ever seen. Side quests that you can find completely organically keep you having a reason to travel off the beaten path. The story is also incredible, building on the humble start of Henry from the first game into something twist-filled and fitting right at home in a post-Game of Thrones pop culture world. The journey that Henry and Hans take is harrowing and believable, and both characters burst off the screen in different ways. The various paths you can take throughout the story are fascinating too, and the choices and consequences of each one play out in amazing ways. Any other year, this is going to be the easy favorite for Game of the Year, but there is one game that edges it out in my book.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a landmark moment in gaming. It feels like a reigniting of the JRPG genre in a way that other games in recent years didn't grasp. It's incredibly mature and accessible at the same time, which is something the genre has had trouble nailing throughout multiple titles in this new age of gaming. The gameplay is spectacular, mixing the intense parrying and dodging of Souls-like games with the strategic turn-based combat that made the genre such a booming success throughout the 90s. The voice acting is also exceptional, with multiple performances up for Best Voice Actor at the Game Awards. There is something so lifelike to the dialogue. There isn't any unnecessary exaggeration, and the humor manages to hit just about every time without even trying. And despite being a AA title in budget, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a breathtaking experience visually too. From the flying waters to the overworld map, this art style and color usage is above and beyond the call. I've seldom seen the game look so beautiful in action, and whether it's the scenery or the explosive attack effects, this is a dazzler for the eyes that doesn't come around too often. The story is the real showstopper here though. It's an amazing journey of Expedition 33 as they seek to end the death caused by the Paintrix year after year. The mystery that slowly unravels throughout the game is incredible, with tons of twists, character reveals, and some of the best boss fights the genre has ever seen. The emotional highs and devastating tragedies you'll experience are unlike anything I've seen in gaming, and that alone makes this game great. But it's the medley of all of the above that makes Clair Obscur Expedition 33 the most special experience of 2025 and my easy Game of the Year award winner.